What's up, everybody? James here with the 1954 Desoto custom build. I want to thank everybody for stopping back in and checking out the process and what I've got going on. So I want to show you what I've done. The last video was primering the deck lid, or at least showing you the products that I am going to use to primer the deck lid. The deck lid is now primered, so I'm going to show you what the results are by using the Car Rep Epoxy 2K aerosol primer and the Tamco 2K urethane primer. But I'm also going to show you a little trick that I use to get this deck lid dialed in to fit correctly, because that's one major struggle that I had with this thing. It just wasn't working out in my favor, and I had to become the surgeon and start cutting and manipulate the fitment on this deck lid to where it now fits absolutely perfect. I'm very happy with it, but I'll walk you through exactly what I did to achieve that result. Hopefully it can help you. I know a lot of people struggle with this. It's something that I've struggled with in the past. Sometimes you don't have to resort to this extreme solution, but sometimes you got to bite the bullet and make it happen, and that's what I did. So I'll turn the camera around here and I'll walk you through what I had to do and what my results are. So hope this helps some people out. So here's the deck lid in primer. Turned out really nice. Very happy with it. Like I said, I'm not concerned about the insets. Those are all going to be covered. But obviously I had to go through the proper prep process to make everything stick well and look good and be presentable for the time being. But everything came out nice. There's the beast in the background. It's labor of love. Hopefully I'll get to finish this thing up and enjoy it, and everybody else will get to see it and enjoy it as well. But in the meantime, time marches on. Got to get things done. So one of the biggest problems I had with this deck lid was these corners flare out in contour with the back pan, back quarters of this car. And no matter what I did, no matter how I fit this deck lid, suck the back all the way into the back pan, got my side-to-side fitment, adjusted my hinges, no matter what I did, these corners would flare out way too far from the body itself, to the point where I could almost put my finger into the back corner of this deck lid on both sides. So these corners were sticking way out too far from the body itself. Everything would fit flush, fit exactly the way it was supposed to, until I would get to about here, and then I would start getting a gap all the way out and around, all the way out to about here roughly. So everything fit nice except for these two corners. There was really no beating this thing around because of the inner skeleton being super rigid. So there was really no way to move these corners the way I wanted to move them. You can only move the hinges so far. You can only manipulate the hinges so far to the point where you gotta go to plan B and come up with something else. So what I ended up doing was I took a cutoff wheel and sliced this inner skin and cut this open from roughly here all the way around to here. I did this on the car and I did it on both sides to where with this being open, now I have some play with this skin. It's not affecting back here, only where I've made the cuts. So I only want to bring these corners in. I don't want to manipulate anything else here. I don't want to start moving this skin back here. So once I made these cuts with it bolted onto the car, I was able to put clamps and suck the skin in, and then I would tack it, and then I would shut the trunk lid to see where I was at. Okay, I'm getting really close, but I still need to pull it in a little bit further. So I would take my cutoff wheel and slice a little bit more sheet metal out of this inner skin, and then I would suck it in more, put a tack on it, put a couple tacks on it, shut it until I got the skin exactly where I needed it to be to fit flush all the way around on this deck lid. Once I got it fitting exactly the way I wanted it, then I would come back in and I would start slowly welding this back shut. So once I got that welded back shut, I'd clean it up, I would epoxy primer it, then I started and I body worked this whole entire corner piece as well as the other corner piece to look exactly the way it did from the factory. This corner piece here was a little rotted out, so I had to end up cutting all this out, replacing this sheet metal. I had to make all new sheet metal here to resemble exactly the way it fits now, exactly the way it was from the factory. I didn't want to take too much away from the body style of this car. There's a lot of stuff that's customized. There's a lot of stuff that's original. Being a very rare car, I want to keep it somewhat classy to the time period, classy to the car that it is. But I also want to put my own twists, my own customizations on things. But as far as this goes, that's what I had to do. It works extremely well. It's very effective, gets the job done. Some people are afraid to do it that way. You just have to do it. It's just one of those things you just have to do. I had the same problem with the doors. So when I would fit these doors, both sides, I would have complete flush fitting from the very top all the way down to where I've got this tape line stopping. And it would start to flare out just like the deck lid. It would start coming out. So I had to do the exact same thing. I had to start cutting it. Cut it. I started cutting it here, and I had to cut it all the way down to about here. What that does is that loosens up that skin without moving anything else. And all I'm worried about was pulling the bottom corner of this door in. So now, like I said, with the door shut, this was flaring way out. It was sticking out to about here. And obviously that wasn't going to fly. So, like I said, I cut all that. Still got some work to do there. Tweak that a little bit. But now my door fits flush. And I don't have a big gaping mess on my hands anymore. So that was done to both doors. Worked on my gaps. Got my gaps looking good. Got a little bit of tweaking to do. Not much to get done on that. But both doors were done that way. Inner skin was cut. Outer skin was pinched in. Welded back shut. Now I got nice fitting doors, nice fitting deck lid. and nobody can tell what was done to it. Like I said, this was all cut here to here. Skin pinched in, welded back together, body worked. Fits like a dream. So if you're running into problems with fitment like that, that's my biggest suggestion, is to cut it, weld it back up, see where you're sitting. It works. I hope this might help somebody that's struggling with this problem. If you got any questions, reach out to me, make a comment. Otherwise, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends. Stay tuned.